Dude, fuck, episode 202. I told you you're going to be 200, but I slipped two more in. I was sneaky. Sorry. Not really, but I'm sorry. Yeah, so, but, yeah, so what were you just saying, meditating. Everyone listening, it's my buddy Durant, who was my first guest ever, so big dick energy right there. Fucking big
Yeah.
dick energy. Let this bitch
Biggest.
out of the cage. The biggest of the wieners. The fucking most magnanimous of schlongs. I don't think that's even the right word. But point being, we had to delay this 10 minutes because I needed to meditate because I'm fucking unhinged and am at the very core. What I have found daily meditation does, like 10 minutes. I find and I find anything less than that, it doesn't do anything and there's no point in doing it. But I find 10 minutes is about the bare minimum. You should really go for me, I should really go for like 15. But 10, I can squeak by. It's, to me, it's like turning on the windshield wipers in the lowest possible setting when it's just like misting out. Very light drizzle. It's not a lot, it's every, maybe every 10 seconds it goes. But it just keeps it from building up and actually like, turning into a mess and you can't see through your windshield. And that is what I find daily meditation is. It's not profound. I mean, and I've talked about it before, and I've had a handful of profound meditation. But under 10 experiences that have been like crazy, out of 3,000 plus. So it's, to me, it's just the daily windshield wiper. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you take off a couple days, very quickly, it's like I can't fucking see out of this thing.
Yeah. Dude, meditation is, I don't know, like my experience with meditation was like, so I started it my freshman year when I was in the dorms.
Yeah.
And I was like not getting the scores I wanted on my exams. And I was like, I don't know what else I can do. I'm studying it before I take the test. I'm answering all the questions correctly without looking at any supplemental material. And it was like, I just got this feeling. I was like, I should try praying or meditating. And so I meditated, and then I went and took tests. And then during that week, I really started like getting that groove going, And then when I got to OCAM, it was like the same thing repeatedly. Like I couldn't get the test score I wanted. And then I started meditating like an hour before the test, and just good. Gucci.
It's Gucci. It's a cheat code that like no one knows about. But like you don't you don't need to get a prescription. Like it's not a banned substance. Not only that, you don't have to teach yourself. I think a lot of people, the mistake they make is, well, I don't know how to do it. I got to get a teacher. I got to find a YouTube video. Dude, you just kind of, there's no way you can do it wrong. You just you don't even have to fucking close your eyes. Just go put aside 10 minutes and just whatever happens. And there's no, even if there is a quote unquote correct way to do it, what is correct for me may not work at all for you. Maybe it'll work okay for you. And then whatever works for you, whatever is that sweet spot for you, it might not do shit for me. So it's like there's no point in even getting a teacher, or if you want to get a teacher, get a teacher. I think that's the whole point, is just whatever you want to do, just do it, and you'll start to see benefits. And it's just you're a little more clear. It's like Terrence McKenna said, like stresses kind of, they fall off you how like water beads up, how water droplets bead up and roll off the back of a duck. Like you still get hit by shit, but you kind of just, quack, quack, quack. You just kind of roll it off and just keep floating around in the pool or the lake of life and quack, quack, quack. Right? It's the rain doesn't stop. It just, you kind of get a little better at deflecting it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Terrence McKenna's
it's
a
like
fucking genius.
It's like a studying. Like people have different way of studying. Yeah. It's like it's just we're all different, and do you know what works for you?
Yeah.
And I think it's like one of those things that you kind of got to test and then try it.
Yeah.
Like you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And then once you figure that out, like it's really helpful.
Yeah, because I used to study. The only thing I would do this way, not anything else, but like organic chemistry, when I was doing practice problems, like once I learned the chapter, I would just play like the most like upbeat, intense, like EDM music, like blasted on Ritalin and caffeine, and would just tear. And that's probably the highest grade I got in college was OChem 1 and 2. That's like, I'm an anomaly. That's the highest grade I got in college. But what works for me might not work for you at all, right? It's like people that study in the library, like we're all gonna go study. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? I can't be within like 100 feet of a noise making entity. Like earplugs in, white noise fan going, like I can't even see shit in my periphery. Other people are like, we're just gonna go do a group study.
I will say that I get distracted whenever I go to the library because it's just like somebody wants to talk to me or I want to talk to somebody. That's just how that goes.
It's just a social scene, yeah. But fuck it, yeah, whatever works for them, I guess. But yeah, I found daily meditation. I did it from like August 2010. I kind of like taught myself not even knowing what I was doing or not even trying to teach myself. It just kind of started happening like late 2008, early 2009, my senior year of high school. I remember I would just I had this futon in my room, and I would just sit on it with like the window open and just kind of like look at the stars and then just like really try to like meditate on the fact that those aren't a two-dimensional image, that is I'm looking at a three-dimensional place out in space, right? If you look at a pool table with pool balls scattered on it, you look at it, you know that you're not looking at a flat image. You're like, I know this ball's closer and that ball's farther away and that, you know. But the stars, well, at least for me, you never grow up thinking that. You just, there's the night sky, right? There are the stars. Yeah, there it is. It's what I would do is I would just try to stare at it long enough and almost like an optical illusion. I would almost try to trick my brain into seeing like that it's three-dimensional. And then once I would do that, I would realize like, and I'm in it. I'm not looking at it. Like, I'm in it. And that was the first sort of like, whoa, fuck, I really am just an evolved monkey. But I didn't know what that was, and I wouldn't do it every day. I just kind of did it every once in a while. I think to me it was like, oh, this feels like weed, and I don't have weed right now, so this is weed. And it wasn't until August 2010 I started doing it when I moved into the frat house, because I was like, I want to be a doctor, and I was just so stressed out because I was like, I've like never got a good grade in my life. But what I would do is I remember I would just sit there and like, I don't even remember how I did it the first time, but I remember I like sat like Indian legged or Indian style, that's politically incorrect now, I guess, but fuck it, I sat Indian style on my bed and just closed my eyes for like 20 minutes. And I just kind of came out of it, like my internal monologue just was slowed down. The thoughts weren't just, I gotta do this and I gotta do that and and I was like, that was really helpful, I'm gonna do that again. And I just did that all throughout college, and I got better and better and better at it. And I truly believe that's like the only way I got into med school. And then I stopped right around the time my brother died, so April 2014. And that is, I don't think it's a coincidence that that's when I went off the rails. Granted, it was also because of that, my brother. It was also because I decided not to go to med school. I didn't have structure in my life. A big part of it was I stopped meditating, and I really didn't start up again until December 2019, which is when I started the podcast. So, I mean, it mirrors itself. Whenever I do it every day, life in general is just better. But it's not obvious. It's only when I look back and look at the big picture.
Oh, yeah. You know, like you said, you know, water off duck's back.
Yeah.
You know, you perfectly described it there, I think. But, I mean, yeah, you know, like Jordan Peterson says, life is suffering. So, you know, you got to pull yourself up by the bootlegs and just be strong and get through it, man. Like, don't be a damn victim. Like, you got to, you know, and like meditation is like one of those tools that really allows you to pull yourself up. And it's like in a very humble way too. Yes. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to go conquer, you know, all of
let's go work out, let's go lift some weights. Like, no, it's not. It's not the alpha dominator mindset, which I don't think there's anything wrong with. But it's when you're in a down spot, the last thing you want to do is let's go crush the world. No, it's very like motherly, right?
That's perfect.
It's very loving. Yeah, a little more feminine, a little more beta. It's like, it's very therapeutic, right? It's the priest that yells fire and brimstone versus the priest that's just like, what's going on, man? You know, just a cool dude who happens to be a priest, right? You're just like, what's up, man? Right? It's that. That's what it is. Yeah, and for me, it's not even like it's like it's like it's like an Adderall and you're like amped up and ready to go. It doesn't do anything to you. What it simply shows you is that, for me at least, you can only do what is in today. You're never gonna have more than one day at a time. You just can't. So it's like, I mean, it sounds so cliche and cheesy, but it really is like, hey, you got this 10,000-mile journey, but like today you can probably take like 100 steps because you got some homework, you got to go to work. But on the side, like, you can probably do like 100 steps today. And I know that you think it's nothing and why even do it. Just do 100 today. If you can do 100 today, do 100 tomorrow. And just don't do any more than that. Just until you feel like it. And but before you meditate, you're not looking at the 100 steps. You're like, I gotta fucking walk from here to Cairo. Like, how do I do that? Meditation's like, yeah, just walk 100 steps, man. Yeah, go put a podcast on. You won't even get through 5 minutes. Just do 100 steps, right? And it's, for me at least, it's always like, keep it small. Keep it as small as something you can do. You can and will do every single day, right? I only shave once a day. So I shave every day.
Like, it has to be challenging too, though. Like,
little challenging, yeah.
Challenging, but not impossible.
Not for me. What I find is, I try to incorporate things into my daily ritual, like long-term goals. I'll only do like right now for the last year. It's wake up. First thing I do when I get out of bed is I make my bed, and then I put on my workout clothes, which I have already set aside, and then I pick out new workout clothes and I immediately put them at like the foot of my bed for tomorrow. It's the first thing I do. Get up, shit, then I drink some water, and right now with COVID, so right now I just walk a mile every day. Come back, I shower, shave, meditate, clean clothes, meditate. Even if I'm not going to work today, I still put on a shirt because it's like, I just feel better when it's clean clothes, and like that's it. If I want to add something new in it, what I do is sort of like podcasts. Like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast every day. I wait until the end of the day when I'm really tired, and then I decide what new thing do you want to add in? Because if you wake up right when your morning coffee's hitting you and the sun's shining, you don't have to deal with the bullshit of the world yet. You're like, fuck it, let's start running 10 miles a day. I'm going to run 10 miles a day. No, you're not. You're going to do that today, maybe, and then you're never going to do it again. But if at the end of the day, when I'm most tired and I'm cranky, I just want to go to bed, right? I got a fucking UFO documentary I'm going to fall asleep to because I want to believe it. When I'm there, I'm like, what is something that I would do right now? Would I run 50 miles? No. What if my new thing is, I want you to email one cold call email a day to an author, fucking military, or whatever, right? Someone for the podcast. At the end of the day, when I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I've already done schoolwork, I've already gone to work, I've already done a podcast, I've already everything, and I'm just tired. Whatever I find I can do in that one thing, I'm like, can you email one person? So let's just whatever book I'm listening to, just choose a book. It's Bob Smith. Bob Smith, contact information. Fuck, I can't find it. There's his email. All right, he works for a company. None of them are his emails, but there's a contact info, a press inquiry info, and a sales info. I'm just going to copy and paste a message. Hey, I'm Tommy Kerrigan. This is my blah, 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 blah. Copy, paste, send it to each one of them. I don't know if he'll get back to me. Sent. That took 4 minutes. I could do that. I can do that tomorrow. But if I think about it first thing in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to start sending out 100 emails a day, and I might do it for like a week. And then I just burn the fuck out.
But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really smart, man. Because then at the end of the day, then you know what you're capable of.
If you can do it at the end of the day, you can make it part of your daily ritual the next day.
Yeah. So like, what's really possible for you because you're thinking about your day.
You got to plan for the worst.
Yeah. God, I think I'm gonna copy you.
You should start doing that
that's a really good idea.
That is like a thing now that I incorporate, and it's now part of my daily ritual. My daily ritual is the first thing I do in the morning. So I know if I can do it at my absolute most dog tired, then I know I will always do it with this, right? Like every day I I write down the number of subscribers. I have an Excel sheet I think I've showed to you. The number of subscribers, total views, a couple other parameters just to track the podcast. That takes like 30 seconds. And because of that, I've done it every single day since December 12th, not missing a day. Because it only takes 30 fucking seconds. So even on the worst days, even when I didn't sleep well, even when I'm depressed, or even when I had a bad day at work, or I'm sad thinking about I'm fucking alone, right? These are the things I've carved out that are so simple that even on those days, and honestly, it helps me on those days, because on those days, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do my thing. I got like 4 minutes of shit I got to do. And then I'm like, you're free to be lazy for the rest of the day. You did the thing. But that's how you get this long term. You blink your eyes and now it's episode 202. I mean, just like that, it was me sitting down with you going, what's up, man? It's episode 1. But if you try to plan it out to, I'm going to do 200 episodes in a month, like you might, but god damn it, you're going to burn out. So it's choose it when you're at your most tired. And then you put it into the part of your day you do when you're in the morning, you jacked up and life hasn't shit on your face yet. Right? So that's what it is. It's choose something, something you know you can do on even your worst, most depressed, tired, hungover day. And then that's how you do it. So you're right. Challenging. That's what I mean by challenging, is I make it it's challenging on my worst day. But aside from that, you just turn it into a thing. And it's like depositing a penny in a jar every day. You don't think about it anymore. But the next thing you know, it's been 10 years and you're like, whatever, I got like what? I can't do math. I can't, right? It's like $30, $36, right? Cool, I got but whatever it is, it's just and so bring that back around to meditation. What is the point of meditation? The point of meditation is it keeps me from getting flustered and looking at the big picture. Fuck, I'm only sending out 1 email a day. What am I doing? I'm still doing a podcast above my parents' garage. I'm 30 fucking years old. I work at a liquor store. I'm doing this podcast. It's got, as of right now, 672 subscribers. What the fuck am I doing with my... And then I meditate and I'm like, hey, there's only so much you can do today. Go walk, go shower, send out an email, do a podcast. Maybe it's a big one. Maybe it's a Delta Force guy. Maybe it's Mike Durant. Maybe I'm going to talk about UFOs and dick jokes with Doran. Get a podcast out. Just get it out. You got one out. You put out the content. Finish the day. If you got through the day, okay, cool. Turn on an audiobook, play some video games, run around a Grand Theft Auto, fly a helicopter into a school bus, whatever, right? Go to bed. Do it again the next day. And next thing you know, you look back and you're like, how the fuck am I at 200 episodes of at least an hour apiece? It doesn't feel like it. It's just because I've just done. And I saw a great quote, and it's a mountain. If a mountain was smooth, you couldn't climb it. Right? So that's how you do these sort of big long-term goals. It's just a little bit at a time. Do a little bit, have my daily mental breakdown where I'm like, fuck, I'm worthless, I hate existence. Go to bed, wake up the next day, I'm like, all right, that wasn't me last night. I'm like, fresh self, let's do it again. Fuck, I hate myself, this podcast sucks. Just do a little bit each day, and next thing you know, 200, this is episode 202.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, I don't know if you played like sports in high school at all. No. So I played football, and it was like the biggest thing, you learn about football is like our coaches were trying to teach us about, quote unquote life. And, it was like the inches that mattered. You don't get a touchdown in one big play.
Yeah.
You get a touchdown by marching it down the field, and it's inch by inch by inch by inch by inch.
Yeah.
And so like, that's just life. Like you got yourself a long-term goal. Maybe you got to dig through this mountain, and it's like, it's a shovel a day.
Yeah.
And I think that, some people, they forget that, because they want like instant gratification, they want to just feel good about themselves and where they are. And, and then they forget, how much further they have to go, and I see, I think that's like one of the more frequent ways that students get burned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's life's a journey, and I was watching this video, and I think it was Jordan Peterson. He was saying that happiness doesn't come from absolving your goals or finishing your goals. It comes from the journey.
Absolutely.
And then, he talks about the science behind that. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. I found that entirely. It's,
yeah.
I mean, achieving the goal it's cool, but goddamn, no, it's about the hunt, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's about the hunt, you going and getting that mammoth.
A fucking thing. But I found the way to go is, because, once you achieve it, you kind of don't know what to do and you feel a little empty. And then, and sometimes, I know for me, I'm like hesitant to start the next goal because I'm like, that's so far away. But I found the best way to go is just sort of stagger goals. So like maybe every month, every couple months, you're getting that awesome, like, I finished, I did the thing, I killed the mammoth. But instead of having to go, now let's start a new goal, instead, while you were 90% of the way through of tracking and hunting the mammoth, you also saw a mountain way off in the distance, and there's mammoth, or there's jaguars, and you're like, let's also start moving towards there. So now you kill the mammoth and you feel great and you get that satisfaction, but now you're also 20% of your way into hunting the jaguar, and then you get to 50 or 70% of the way to the jaguar, and you go, yo, there's some fucking, like, whatever, there's some grizzly bears on that mountain, and you kind of just, so you get that gratification of, I got the goal, but then you always get to be, but we're in the fucking hunt, we're in the hunt,
so
right?
You know where you're going. So
that's what I do.
That's really good, man. Like,
I started that with this podcast, is I aim at, like, right now I have Rob Manning coming on October 8th. He's the chief engineer of the Mars Curiosity rover. I know, right? And how the fuck did that happen, right? I don't know shit about rocket science, so I'm listening to his book. Every day I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to fuck this up, but I'm still listening to it every day. Now I'm on my third way through, and I actually have some, like, okay questions. But I had on Norman Ohler, the guy that wrote Blitzed about all the Nazis on meth. When I had him on, like, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but I had, like, reached out to him and we scheduled that a month out, and so I, like, listened to his book. I'm not kidding you, like, 6 times in a row, and I just, like, I couldn't even put my finger on it. But in hindsight, I realized, I was like, oh, I'd love to just, like, I was doing, like, guests. I was having Delta guys on. I was having my buddies, dick jokes, whatever, UFOs. A lot of UFOs. Never enough UFOs. More UFOs. But doing that, and all the while, at the end of the day, I'd make sure I listened to the book for like an hour and a half while playing video games. And I was like, I'm going to fucking get this guest, and it's going to be awesome. And it was great. But immediately after that, I was like, I remember I started listening to that book again, and I was like, no, you got to get a new goal. And I was like, I don't want a new goal. And I was like, you got to get a new goal. And so I emailed a bunch of people whose book I had. Rob Manning responded. And so that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now, like a week ago, I reached back out to that author, Norman Ohler, who wrote Blitzed. He wrote his newest book is called Bohemians. And it's a true story about it's a true story about a couple that fell in love and just so happened to start the German resistance against the Nazis.
Oh.
Point being is, I was like, okay, because now on my third listen through of the Mars rover, now I'm like balls deep in this. And as soon as it ends, I'm going to be like, what do I do? What do I do with my time, right? So instead of that...
You know who you should look up? Austria de Souza Mendes.
I don't know.
So he was this Portuguese diplomat, right? And
I'm going to have you text me that.
Of giving
text me that, because I'm not going to remember. Keep going, but text me that, because I'm not going to remember.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And anyway, so he was in charge of like giving visas out.
Yeah.
And so I think it was like in either 1940 or 1941, he was in Bodak's, France, and it's when the Nazis just took Paris. And so he so you kind of got to know like about Salazar's government. He was a dictator, but not a dictator, pretty much. And so he banned, I think it was like Circum 14 or something. He banned like all Jews, all refugees of war, and all people who the Nazis oppressed, pretty much, right? And so he defied his government's orders because of his strong Christian belief. And he wrote like 30,000 visas.
Oh, okay.
And he snuck them through Spain into Portugal, into Brazil, and then finally the United States.
Fuck yeah.
And as a result of that, his family got ostracized by the entire Portuguese community, and the dude died poor.
Yeah.
But you think about people like that, and you're like, man, like, what kind of resolve is that? Like, that is something I am not capable of sacrificing. Like,
it's iron will.
Shit. Yeah.
Don't say that about yourself. I think you are. I think a lot of us won't know until the opportunity presents itself.
Well, I'm working.
But you're right. It's that.
Yeah. And so it's like, man, like, I think about people like that, and like, you hear about Slender's List, and like, he saved like 7,000 people, but this guy, you don't really hear about.
Yeah.
And he saved, 3-4 times of that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, like.
Yeah. It's it kind of like it kind of just slipped into history.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder how many Medal of Honor recipients there have been where everyone eventually died, and so no one was there to report it.
That's a good question.
How would you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure it happened. Harder now because there's always we always have eyes in the sky and shit. But I mean, think about like World War II. I bet there are some Medal of Honor recipients who did something, of incredible valor, but everyone was eventually killed because they were outgunned.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I've been just reading about for my own curiosity as of late, is like looking at heroes in the past, like World War II especially. There's so many stories of videos, like these people who have shown incredible valor that I have never read in the history book before.
Yeah.
It's like, man, there was this like secret mission in was it Norway, I think, where they were stopping the Nazis from creating heavy water.
Deuterium.
Basically keeping them from, getting
the nuke. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I didn't know that the Nazis were working on a nuke, and I didn't know that somebody pretty much solely risked their life to go.
Oh, dude, some American commandos. It wasn't just that the Nazis, like, it's not that we beat them. We made sure that we were sabotaging their shit. Yeah, American commandos went in and were like the original Black Ops. We're like, where are you going? We're going behind German lines. Why? To destroy their power plant. Why? Well, the atomic bomb's classified, so we can't tell you what they're building, but we need to destroy these because we're building it. Like, what the fuck? Like, It's the original.
Yeah, man, have you seen that movie? It's The Catcher Was a Spy.
Mm-mm. No.
So it's based on this true story where this professional baseball player basically works for the OSS, I think is what it's called.
The precursor to the CIA.
Yeah. And so he basically goes to go interview what was the name of that famous scientist from Germany that discovered fission?
Einstein?
No. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Leo Szilard?
No. Oh man.
Teller? Well, Teller was from the Soviet Union. I mean, there was Fermi. There was Fermi, Oppenheimer, Einstein, Teller, Leo Szilard. Because they discovered fission in Germany. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't put my finger on who it was either.
Yeah, so it was like his job was to go spy on him pretty much and figure out if they're close to an atomic bomb, and if they are, like, assassinate him pretty much.
Yeah.
And the dude found out that the dude was holding back basically from creating a fission bomb.
Oh yeah. He wasn't like metaphorically, but possibly literally finishing the equation.
Yeah.
It was almost like no one was smart enough except him to know how to build it, so no one was smart enough to know whether or not he knew how to build it, right? Because if they were, they would build it. So he was like, I just don't fucking know how to finish it, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Very slyly told the spy that, I'm not going to finish it for these guys.
What an animal. What a Chad of a man.
Yeah, like...
Just scratching your head like, I'm sorry, Fuhrer, I just can't fucking... Give me another year and I got it. What an animal. Yeah. What an absolute animal. Otto Hahn.
Yeah, the big balls.
Yeah.
The big balls of that man.
Fucking uranium nuts on that guy.
Yeah.
Balls so dense when they bang together they create little fission bombs. That's what happens when he nuts. All respect to Otto Hahn. What a fucking champ. What an alpha. What a total bro. Man. What a total bro. Yeah. Good looking, Otto. Appreciate it from 2020. Appreciate you. Hey, man. But that's the thing is, like, you could take those actions today. Who's to say that in 2160, someone's not like, yo, big dick energy, Duran, appreciate you. Right? Why not, man? Why not? But you can. It. Just choose a goal and go to. And I completely got sidetracked. Choose multiple goals. So, like, Rob Manning's coming on next Thursday, right? A week from today.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, it's a week away. Whew. But I already scheduled a podcast with Norman Ohler again for his new book Bohemians on, I think, October 29th or something. So now as soon as I finish this one, I'm going to finish the podcast and it's going to be boom, right to the next book. And I'm going to be working on that all the while, taking online graphic design courses, doing work, doing podcasts, doing my, like, you know, all my other podcasts. And in that time, I'm always like, you know, I'm kind of gunning at, like, medium tier guests. Like, there's, like, my friends and there's people who've come on. Then there's, like, kind of big time, like, Norman Ohler is a New York Times bestseller. He's an international bestseller. But in between, I'll try to find another more, maybe on, like, Reddit or something. I see, like, a comment on Instagram. Like, I saw a guy comment today on a Black Rifle Coffee. They, like, the Instagram post, they post something about, like, Black Hawk Down today. Right? Because it's the, I believe, 27th anniversary. And I saw someone comment that, like, because some of the footage in Black Hawk Down is actual footage from the operation, from a P-3 Orion, basically eye in the sky, filming it. And some guy was talking about how when he was in the Army, one of his buddies, or was in the Air Force, one of his buddies was actually, like, the pilot for that plane. So I messaged him on Instagram and I sent him, like, the Mike Durant episode, and I was like, I've actually interviewed the actual guy. Would your friend come on my podcast? Now I have no idea if this guy's even going to respond to me, but that's like a little. Those are like my side missions, right? So the big mission is like Rob Manning a week from today, and then Norman Ohler at the end of the month. I have a bunch of little ones in between. It's all my friends. It's repeat guests. Little is not a derogatory way. It's just like I don't have to establish that again, right? We've got their numbers. We've already done an episode. We've already done the first date, so now we can just get back to fucking, right? It's. I try to get like little guests in between, little like mid tier, that guy, or, you know, I see someone on Reddit that's like, oh yeah, you know, whatever, I just make something up. Yeah, I used to help build like dams or something. Like, that's cool. Like, you know, so shoot them a message where it's not a specific individual like an author or a general, but it's still not someone I've had on before, and it's not somebody now. They're like mid tier, all the while. And as I get closer to Norman Ohler, the second interview, so probably like 2 weeks from now, I will try to start scheduling an interview for 2 weeks after Norman Ohler. So as I get closer to Norman Ohler and I'm banging it out and I got his book down and I got it and boom, it's done. Now I have the next one already set up. So I'm trying to, excuse me, I'm having a stroke. I'm finding that it's just like, it is kind of like climbing a mountain. It's just like you fucking keep throwing the rope up, right? And it hooks onto something and it's like, let's just climb a little more. Let's just climb a little more.
Yeah, you go from mammoths to jaguars.
Just fucking always. Next thing you know,
always hunting.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like, and when I first kind of started doing that tactic, which is very new actually, like my sort of like create my daily ritual by choosing something when I'm tired, and then the like have a guest in the background kind of thing. That's in like the last 2 weeks. Like, I'm like, this is very fairly new, but it's working. I still used to think that like, why am I doing this? Well, I'm just gonna keep hunting, and then what? Well, eventually I'm gonna get to the promised land, right? But I'm realizing as you and I are talking right now, I'm like, well, that defeats the whole purpose. What's the point of getting to the promised land? You're just gonna stop hunting? And it's like, no. Even if you get to the promised land, like, you got to keep hunting, right? That's the whole purpose. So it's like, even if you get to Joe Rogan tier, You don't just sell out and become a shitty podcast.
Oh yeah, yeah. 100%.
What you do is you start gunning for even bigger. I'm gonna get fucking Putin on, right? I'm gonna get, you know, yeah, right. I'm gonna get alien contact on. You just keep going. If you can't tell, I'm very upset. I think Joe Rogan sold the fuck out because he was a huge influence on me, and I kind of feel like he sold out. Because his new podcast, they're all kind of dry. They don't feel like Jerry. And you know what? I'm probably a large part of this is me just being a little selfish prick because I'm like, I want my podcast to be bigger, so now I have to shit on. It just doesn't feel the same. But I'm just, at the same time, I'm clearly just a hater. Like, I'm living above my parents' garage. If I could get $100 million, I would tomorrow, right?
Well, it's like the last podcast that I saw that I was actually interested in from Joe Rogan was the latest Snowden podcast.
Yeah.
That one was interesting.
Yeah.
But all the other guys, like, I don't know, man. Like, it just doesn't interest me. Like, if he had, like, Randall Carlson on there again, like, I would be digging it, you know?
Yeah.
But,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to see celebrities, man. That's kind of like what podcasts were. Is like you didn't have this whole kind of like morning, you know, Good Morning America feel. Like, and today we have on, you know, so and so, their new album's coming out next week. It's like podcasts were like, no, you just had someone on that was like, Randall Carlson, who's just like, asteroid hit Earth, and we're all like, fuck yeah, you know. And it's not like, it's not Miley Cyrus.
Give me someone interesting, not someone that people already know about.
Yeah, I don't want to see someone talk purely because they're famous, right?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't. Yeah. Like get someone that like they earn it, right?
Yeah.
It's like if it was a podcast, I want someone that you could convert their voice to a robot voice, so you wouldn't know who it is. You know, just like the Siri voice, and they didn't drop a name, so you didn't know who it was. I want someone that would be interesting even if they were that. Because if it's Miley Cyrus or Post Malone, and I love Post Malone, but you're automatically going to click on it because it's who they are, no matter what the conversation was. But imagine if imagine if there was no video and it was just like the Siri robot voice and they never said their name. Is that conversation one that would really hold you, or were you there because it was Post Malone? A Randall Carlson conversation or a Graham Hancock, I'm there fucking Siri voice or Graham's voice, I don't give a shit, because it's like, holy fuck, you know, we might have our whole history wrong, right? Or Bob Lazar. I don't give a fuck if it's Bob Lazar, if it's Pamela Anderson. If they're talking about goddamn UFOs out in the Nevada desert, I'm there, right? That's what I mean, is like, so when someone comes on, it's just like Robert Downey Jr. And I'm like, he's a cool guy. Like, sure, but like, I mean, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little fucking like incel. I'm like, fuck Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like they gotta be interesting to me too. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. I mean, if he brings on Alex Jones, I will walk back everything I've said. Because he needs to do part 3. Part 1 and part 2.
Alex Jones.
Dude, part 1 and part 2 with Eddie Bravo and Alex Jones. Episode 911 and then episode whatever the next one was, like 1200 something.
Oh, yeah.
I have listened to those so many times. Those are amazing. Those are the pinnacle of entertainment. Those are just... Someone's like, Grand Theft Auto needs to put this on one of their news stations. Because they always have crazy talk shows in Grand Theft Auto. They're like, there needs to be a news station that's just the Alex Jones episodes. Like, but yeah, if he has him on a third time, then I'll go back to being a JRE fanboy. I'll walk it back. I'll go back. But right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
At the same time,
not too many interesting people on lately, man.
Yeah. And at the same time, like, who the fuck am I to judge him? I only know him through his podcast.
If he was, for real. Like,
if he was my uncle,
just our stupid opinions.
You know, if he was like my dad, or if I was him, I had on my friend Marcus yesterday, who said like, yeah, he's sold out, but dude, he's doing a total dad move. He's making sure his family is set up forever. And I had never even thought of that. I'm like, yeah, he's got 3 daughters and a wife. He's going total dad. He's making sure that they are each set up forever, no matter what happens to him. And as crazy as the world is in 2020 with Trump and Biden and COVID and riots, and now he can get $100 million, 3 daughters and a wife. He can make sure that each have $25 million if he drops dead tomorrow. You don't give a fuck what fans. You don't give a fuck who. JRE sold out. No, you're being the ultimate dad. You're being alpha dad. You're making sure your family's taken care of.
Yeah.
When he said that, I never even thought of that. I'm like, yeah, he's going. It's the ultimate alpha male move, making sure your progeny is set up no matter what.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like the ultimate goal there is you want to make sure you and your family set up like. Yeah, you can't blame him. No. You honestly can't blame him for that.
And most importantly, if someone came to me with $100 million check and said, we're going to start choosing your guests and we're going to censor some of them, I'd be like, fucking, where do I sign? Right?
You want to be like...
Yeah, I want to say, I'd be like, fuck you. The reality, they came. You'd see the podcast tomorrow. I'll be like, man, I don't know about you guys, but I love that new Dodge Durango. Like, I'd be wearing a Nike shirt with with Crest toothpaste. Oh, don't mind my new Oral-B toothbrush, guys. With my new iPhone and my new case by Otterbot. Like, I'd have on, label, brand name sunglasses. I'd have on I would be the biggest sellout in the fucking world.
Dude, did you see that the debate? Or it really wasn't a debate.
I watched that. That was... I took a shower after it. I never... Unless I work, I don't take a shower in the evening. I always shower in the morning. I showered after that, and I didn't even realize why I'd gotten in the shower at 11 p.m. And I realized while I was in there, I started laughing. I was like, I'm showering off the debate. like without missing a beat, I said good night to my parents, and I went upstairs. And I never do this unless I had work that day, which I didn't. But for some reason, I without missing a beat, went in the bathroom, took my clothes off, turned the felt the water, got in, and I was kind of and I was thinking and I went to shave, and I realized it was smooth, and I was I already showered this, and I was what am I doing? I didn't even realize what I was doing, and I was I feel like I'm getting the debate off of me. I was I'm getting that shit show.
That dirty, huh?
Yeah, I was I'm getting that shit show off of me. I feel like a dirty whore. I'm I feel like a fucking prostitute. I'm ugh.
I don't know why, but I just felt like Trump was debating both the moderator and Joe Biden.
I think all three of them were debating each of the other two. I think Biden was debating Trump and the moderator. I think the moderator was fighting them both. I think the whole thing was just... You know what? It's Joker. We get what we fucking deserve, man.
God damn it.
Hey, this is we are sleeping in our bed because we made it. This is on us. No one did this to us but us, right? This is when you're hungover. No one made you drink that fucking whiskey. No one held a gun to your head. You did this, right?
God.
No one did this to you. You get what you fucking deserve.
Oh, man. I look at these two candidates and I think, where are we right now as a country? Really?
We're reaping what we sow, man. Despite all evidence to the contrary, I am still hopeful. I don't know for what. I mean, the last time you and I spoke, or the time before that, I was maybe something good's going to come out. And then, that evening, George Floyd was killed. And then everything happened with that. And despite all of that...
Didn't we predict that?
That was creepy. Die? That was creepy. I'll need a... Have we done one since then?
Yeah, we did another one.
Yeah, so it wasn't the last time Doran was on, but it was the time before that. Yeah, we talked about, what's going to happen in 2020? Because right at that time, COVID was 2 months old, maybe 3 months old. And it was Kobe to COVID. And we were someone famous is going to die, and then we decided that was too much of a given. Someone famous dies every year, and we were someone's going to be murdered, a Tupac or a Biggie. It wasn't quite the same, but it was the same sort of polarizing, right?
Yeah.
And that happened an hour later, which was creepy. But then the next time we came on, we're all right, there are riots, and I remember I was okay, let's look at the silver lining to this. We're all going to go out, rioting and protesting. And the silver lining is going to be in 14 days, there isn't going to be a COVID spike, and we're going to realize that there's herd immunity. And so the silver lining is going to be, okay, we all go back to work. Let's open up the country again. Well, that didn't happen. So I'm still, but kind of like Elon said, I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. I'm still trying to be optimistic. What is optimistic about the debates? Maybe it opens the door to a third candidate because we're all starting to realize this thing is it's not working anymore. It's a relationship that's not working.
I think the Libertarians are on track to get 5% of the popular vote.
Well, I think I'm going to start voting third party just across the board until I die. Because
yeah, that's what I've been doing since 2016.
Really?
I was pretty upset with Hillary and Trump back then, too.
Yeah. Well, because the argument you always hear against it is you're just throwing away your vote. It's never going to get enough to be something. But
nah, that's not true, man. That's just to keep, because it does hurt their vote.
It is true in the minutia. Like right now, sure, you're just throwing away your vote for this election. But I've been hearing that the first election I remember was 2000, Gore and Bush, and I vaguely remember hearing like an uncle or like a cousin or a neighbor. I was 10 at the time. I remember someone saying like, "What about third party?" And I remember someone else saying, "You're just throwing it away because no one else does that." Well, that was the 2000 election. What if that person did it during the 2000, 04, 08, 12, 16? Eventually, the time passes. It's like the 1,000-mile journey, right? Just do a little bit each day. Well, if enough people just say, you know what? No, fuck this. I don't care if I'm throwing away my vote. If the whole thing sucks anyway, why does it matter? It could be. We're gonna blink our eyes and it's gonna be 2040. Who knows? Maybe you get a third-party candidate. I think that's the only real change that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Like, man. So I've been voting Libertarian since 2016, I think.
Yeah.
And the real reason I've done that is because, back then I kind of realized that there really isn't that big of a difference between the two parties other than aesthetics.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they both, pander to corporate lobbying. I mean, it's just one of the same, but
it's sort of like an edgy, like, I'm 14 and this is deep meme. But it's like the left wing and the right wing are the same wing of this, are both wings of the same animal.
Yeah.
And what better animal than the eagle, right?
Yeah. If you were going to be voting third party, who do you think you'd vote for?
Well, I'm just gonna go for whoever the fuck is running third independent. So right now, who is it? Is it Joe? Joe sounds like a
Joe
fucking
Jorgensen.
Sounds like a Norwegian. Yeah, sounds like a Norwegian. Like Jordan Jorgensen. Even Slaven. Jordan Jorgensen. But
and then you have, I think, the Green Party.
Oh, so there's more than just one.
Yeah, so I think right now the two big third parties are the Libertarian, which I think they'll get like 5%, and then the Green Party will probably get 2 to 3%.
I don't think it matters. I'll choose one, but I don't think it matters. It's just the point of it. The point is, it's not even necessarily voting for a third party so much as it's just move away from the dichotomy.
Oh yeah.
So whoever you want, so that's not to say you have to blanket support libertarians, because now we're back at square one, arguing for one idea. So don't look at the idea of who is the third party, libertarian, green, whatever. It's the third slot. It's adding another variable.
I mean, I think both independents are on all 50 ballots.
Okay, good. Durant, fill the space. I gotta go pee.
All right.
I gotta go pee. I gotta go. My bladder is full. Oh God, I've been staying hydrated because of the Rona and the riots. Fill the space, Durant.
Joe Jorgensen, she's cool. Like, she's been traveling around the country. I think she's in the Midwest right now, but she was just on the West Coast. She went to Cali, I think. She was up in Idaho because I'm from there, and so I got a text saying, "Hey, come visit." But I didn't. But I think a lot of her values make sense to me. And then you have the Green Party, which is more like, I think their party's more focused on, bringing about equity and taking care of our environment. And I think, taking care of our environment is, hell important because, climate change is going to keep seeing crazier and crazier climates, which is something that I don't want my future kids to, really worry about. So I think that the problem with the two-party system is that they're so polarized and they're so easily bought that it just doesn't serve the American people or the American, middle class, And I think I could make an argument that the reason Trump won in 2016 is because he hammered on that middle class that kind of got left out from the globalization.
The forgotten man.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and spin that Russian collusion shit, but
yeah,
I mean, the documents have come out that's just not true.
Yeah, it's.
I think they released a document this week where they're accusing the Hillary campaign of helping spin that to cover up her email scandal.
I'm sure they did, and nothing's going to come of that. It's everyone that's like Trump's second term is going to be behind bars. Listen, Clinton's not going to jail for her emails, and Trump's not going to jail for a non-existent Russian collusion. He's just not. And guess what? Obama's not going to jail for gun running Fast and Furious or bombing a Doctors Without Borders hospital. He's also not going to jail for Crossfire Hurricane. Bush isn't going to jail for Iraq. None of them are going to jail. So just let's get that fan fiction porn out. And okay, he and Pence can share a cell. That's just as cringy as lock her up. Right? It's not happening. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying it's not gonna happen. So, But if you want to,
why won't it happen, Tommy?
Why won't it? Because they fucking control the whole system. And I know that sounds like such a simple that sounds like such a fucking vending machine response. Because they control the system. It's the banks. It's blood for money, right? Right? It's blood oil, right? It's keep them rich while we're poor. It's just a bunch of fucking keywords you can just kind of buzz off. It's just like bingo. Why is Trump bad? Well, he's a xenophobic, anti-Semitic, racist. It's like, okay, you're just fucking labeling words. You're just doing Mad Libs, right? So why won't it happen? Mad Libs.
Man, whenever somebody says that to me, it kind of ruins it to me for some reason. It's because I think the whole Trump is the devil thing is just way out of proportion, and I'm not even a Trump fanboy. I just think it's fucking annoying.
I don't think he's any better or worse than the last three presidents.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's very comparable to Obama. In fact, I think Trump's more liberal than Obama was.
But the thing is I just don't. I think it's okay to not like who's in office, but the idea, to me, it's just as stupid as Obama's going to put us all in FEMA camps. That's retarded, and I thought that was retarded then. The idea that Trump is going to do martial law in a third term, the idea that Trump is a Nazi, the idea that Obama's going to take our guns and put us in FEMA camps, those are equally retarded. It's just they're each side's fan fiction, right? We're going to rise up against Obama, or racist, we are the people. Yeah, no, you're not. No one's fighting Obama. No fat chick with purple hair is going to fight Trump. Neither of you are doing this. Guess what? Kids have been in cages at the border since the fucking Bush administration. Get over it. Trump's travel ban.
Isn't that the result of human trafficking, though, I thought?
Yeah.
But the reason they do that is because
to separate the because they don't know whose kid is whose kid. Yeah, and not only that, how is it a concentration camp? What concentration camp in human history can you voluntarily go to, where all you have to do to not go there is just not come over the border, right? How many Jews were we snuck in at Germany, they got us, shit, we ended up in Auschwitz? No, they came to your fucking house and put you on trains and then stenciled numbers in your arm, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Trump's not going to jail. Trump's Muslim travel ban, that one that everyone freaked out, that exact list was from the Obama State Department. Obama bombed seven nations. That was a direct continuation of the drone program and the CIA extraordinary rendition program from the Bush administration. They all bleed into each other. You're not getting one for the other, all right? It's just fuck off, suck my dick, shut up. It's just not happening, okay? So, that being said, I'm still optimistic despite that rant. I'm still optimistic. I don't know for what.
I'd like to see. I think we might see, because I know New Mexico went third party in 2016 election. They went libertarian.
That's cool.
So I think that we might get one or two states. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm not even sitting here pitching libertarian. I'll probably vote for Joe Jorgensen, but I'm not even pitching that. Vote fucking Green Party. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it's just the idea. We got to get another fucking group in there. There's got to be a third group.
Yeah,
right?
When you were gone, I was talking about how the Green Party, they believe that we really got to take care of our environments and that we need more equity. And it was kind of I wasn't trying to pitch libertarian or whatever. I was just explaining that they both have really good values.
Yeah. I guess the main point I'm trying to drive home is it's just there needs to be a third party. I don't want to endorse with all 600 members in my audience. I don't want to endorse one candidate. It's just the idea of Because right now, when you have a dichotomy, you can do this whole, it's like there's a lot of great shit on the left. It's like, hey, we need affordable healthcare, right? We need trans rights. We need, legalization of psychedelics. And it's all things that I'm on board on. But then they're like, no borders, a hemispheric open marketplace, right? That's the quote from Hillary. No borders. And you're like, whoa, what? What the fucking fuck? And then on the right, it's like, it's strong borders. Let's keep China at bay. And you're like, fuck yeah. And then it's like, no drugs can be legal. We're overturning Roe v. Wade. And you're like, whoa. But it's like they both know. To me, that just gives more credence to the idea that it is one thing controlling it, because you put some goodies over here and some goodies over there. You put chocolate over here, some candy over here, but they both also have Brussels sprouts. That's how you just fist it in, no matter what. Do 8 years of this, 8 years of that, but ultimately you keep shoveling the Brussels sprouts down their throat. Well, if you get a third party in, they might just come in and go, yo, we got candy and chocolate. Fuck your Brussels sprouts. Check them at the door. So to me, it's like, I look at it and I'm like, I don't think I'll ever see it in my lifetime. But I think I can help contribute to it over God willing, I live to 70, 80, 90. If I can do that and explain myself each election while I'm doing it, to me, that's like a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they won't sit under. Right? That's when a society grows great.
Who said that?
I don't know, but I think it's a Japanese proverb, but it's fucking awesome. When old men plant trees whose shade they know they won't sit under. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
So why wouldn't you vote for a party? Because it's not going to do anything, and even if I do it, we're not going to see it in my lifetime. What do I ultimately think is the most beneficial thing to this country that I clearly love and that I rant about every episode? I mean, I think the most beneficial thing I can do is to try to usher in a third party. I don't know what form it will take, but I just don't see it working with two. And I'm not even saying that the third party comes in and now that's the one you choose. Just having three is now going to make it so maybe the Republicans do the candy and the chocolate, and then you go to them. But maybe it's the Democrats, maybe it's the third party. The idea is that by having this three system, you can stop this dichotomy thing. So even that, it's like, I'm not even rooting for the third party. It's just a third variable. I don't give a fuck. Maybe it's the Democrats that offer everything good after that. They're like, oh, fuck, we can't do the charade anymore, so we also have to have strong borders. Or maybe Republicans are like, you know what, strong borders, but you can also have abortion, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be this. So it's not an endorsement for any party. It's just a shift in the system.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's it's the two-party system is creating, it's like an us versus them mentality. It's like we got to villainize the other side and then victimize ourselves.
Yeah. And it's, in reality, we should all be teaming up and gangbanging the rest of the world, right?
Yeah. We should
in reality,
gangbanging the Zais in the world.
The Chinese and the Russians. We're all reality. It's like, guys, we're on the same team. Let's put our money towards a big military, fuck the rest of the world, and build our own utopia. Like, we're on the same side, right? Let's just collectively, we can be the bad guys, but we can be the bad guys together, right? I know that sounds terrible, but to me, that's the most honest thing. Like, it's just, there can only be one superpower. There can only be one, hyperpower. Might as well be us.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It's a zero sum.
Yeah, man. It's funny. That's a whole thing from where they're bitching about overturning Roe v. Wade. I don't think they will. I think what will happen, though, is the funding for it will change. Yeah. I think that's what the discussion's more about.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't overturn that. That's fucking stupid as shit. That's the most retarded thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
I've often I do hold the position. It's like a weird kind of dichotomy. I think that abortion is murder. I have a degree in biology. I think that it is life. And in the same breath, I will say, I think it should be legal. I think, because I don't have to have, I hate when people tell me how to cut my hair to tuck in my shirt. I can't imagine how I would feel if someone told me what I could do with something in my body. So I think it is murder, and I think you should be allowed to do it. So It is a life. I don't think it's a clump of cells. I think it's a life.
Yeah, my morals won't necessarily be other people's morals. So why should I force that on them? Yes. Yeah, that's a very unselfish way of thinking of it. And
it's an unpopular. It's an unpopular way, because to be pro-life, you can't be for the abortion, but to be for abortion, you can't. You gotta say it's not a life; it's a clump of cells. No, I think it's a life, and I think you should be able to extinguish it. If you're not ready for a child and you're just gonna be a terrible parent, you can't give it a good life. I think you should be able to, and better extinguish it when it is a clump of cells than.
Rather than letting the child live out suffering.
Or not even that, have a child live to 2 or 3 and then they find it dead because the mom overdosed and didn't feed it, right? So it's an unpopular position. I think it is a life, and I think you are killing it, and I think it should be allowed. So it's
it's like drugs, like I don't think meth should be legal, but
I do.
What am I to tell other people?
Yeah. I think meth and heroin should be legal. I think you should be free to fucking choose. I can get in my car right now and floor it down the neighborhood without a seatbelt on, holding a steak knife. I can do that, and I'm free to crash into that fucking fire hydrant and die. Okay. All right. But I don't. Because I use my brain. I go, I'm free to eat McDonald's every fucking meal of my life. And I did for a little while, and I got really fat. And I stopped, not because anyone told me to, but because I didn't like the result, right? If we take
I mean, people should be able to have that free choice. I like the Nordic systems, and also what Portugal did with their war on drugs. They
just dropped it all.
Yeah, instead of giving funding to police to stop people from doing it or whatever, they basically said, hey, we're going to put a bunch of money into philanthropic work. And so when, you get addicted to heroin, instead of that addiction destroying the rest of your life because now you're in jail and now you have to pay for this, that, and other thing, you basically are able to go get help that you can afford. And so you can start working again.
Yeah.
And so it just, instead of creating a bigger hole, you're bringing that individual up. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
They're not failures, they're not bad people. No. They're just, they made a mistake.
Yeah. Who hasn't opted for the easier path when life gets hard?
Yeah.
Right? Some of us just had maybe an extra ounce of willpower. But that's not even like an idea, because opponents of that idea will be like, that's idyllic. Yeah, it's all saying kumbaya and hold hands. But no, you can actually break it down into why it would be a better system. Because think of how much money, let's just use a unit. I think it's more, but let's just say, I know it's more, but let's just say we spend $1 billion a year on the war on drugs, right? As $1 billion, it's more than that because we've spent over $1 trillion since 1970. But, so that's 1,000 over 50 years. So what's that? What is that, 20 billion a year? So, okay, let's say we spend 20 billion a year, right? So it's 20 billion a year. If we get rid of the war on drugs, there's 20 billion a year right there. Boom, we now have an extra 20 billion in the pocket. What if you then tax those drugs instead of them being on the black market? Not only is that money not going to the cartels, but now that is 20 billion more revenue. So now we are spending 20 billion less and making 20 billion more. So now there's a $40 billion difference. How many people are not going to jail? How many people are now out in the economy? And if you want to look at it as a cold calculating machine, how many more cogs do you have working in the economy than rotting in jail? And you could take a fraction of all that 40 billion and have prevention, education, and school. And if you fuck up, there's a clinic. You can get better, right? And if the person really is a piece of shit, well, they're going to end up in jail anyway. And we already have that figured out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not some idyllic thing. It's actually makes a lot of sense financially. So why aren't we doing it? And it's, because the CIA is benefiting from it and they're running drugs over the border. But hey,
Yeah. Well, it's also like, man, you look at the biggest contributors for lobbying for like keeping, I think like,
they're prison guard unions.
It's big pharma and it's police unions. Well, why do they care?
Why do they give a fuck?
Because it comes out of their pocket. That's what it is.
It's like, what a bunch of fucking cunts. But that's the thing is like, and alcohol companies, they don't want you. But to me, I'm like, why do that? Idyllically, alcohol companies, you shouldn't do that. People should be free to choose whether they want to smoke pot or drink your beer. That sounds great. That sounds great written on paper. Sure, let's hold hands, sing Kumbaya. Why not just start making you sell weed too? Like, I talked about this with the Drug Users Bible guy, Dominic Milton Trott, episode 13, for everybody listening, is like Budweiser already has the word Bud in the name. You just do Bud, right? Budweiser, Bud Light, you can have different strains of weed. Just sell it as Bud. You already have the infrastructure. You already have the bottling facilities. All right, now just turn those bottles into just, vacuum sealed, put weed in there. You already have the trucks. You already have all the drivers. You already have all the logistics set up.
Yeah.
Just add a new product in. You sell weed and, you get a 30-pack and you also get a fucking, an eighth of weed. Like, I'm not saying, like, hey, bend over because there's going to be another corporation. No, get in on it. Go make that cash. Do an IPO. Like, it can be this, it doesn't have to be this idyllic system. It can be a ruthless capitalist system. Like,
well, it's like, I heard something somewhere that it was like half of the revenue that the law enforcement gets is from drug busts.
Yeah. Well, again, why not just use the fucking revenue that you're not spending on the DEA to do the drug war, and then just cut that into the police department so they don't have to go make it by arresting people? Yeah. Right? And granted, this is all armchair bureaucrat, right? This is the problem with all bureaucratic system is, let me tell you how wise I am. Let me figure it out. Communism, from each according to his ability, to each according to their needs. Sounds brilliant. Written down. Sounds brilliant if there was a podcast about it. But that never works. So it's so asterisk. Everything we're saying is a very loose, like, oh, we solved it, guys. We solved racism. Go home. Pat yourselves on the back, guys. Tomorrow we're going to take on cancer, right? It's So
I heard during the 2008 financial crisis, like the cartels lended our government money.
Probably. I mean that's I mean, dude, all the cartels use the one monopolized communication, like their Verizon or their whatever, AT&T. And none of them ever get busted, despite them all using the same. And that could be fake news. Someone please fact check me on this. Well, that corporation is owned. The monopoly is owned by Carlos Slim, the richest man in Mexico. At one time, the richest man in the world. He kind of fell into the background. He passed Gates and Bill Gates in 2012. I think only for a year. Bill Gates is also, and Carlos Slim is the majority shareholder of the New York Times. So, anything I hear about, why the drug war won't beat the cartels, I have, okay, well, who's the majority shareholder? And that guy, isn't that weird that the richest man in Mexico also controls the corporation that has all the telecom systems that just so happen to never bust the cartels? Huh. I'm not an investigator. I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but something seems a little fucky there. Right? But I could also be fake news. I could be wrong, because I've been spewing a statistic the last couple episodes that I didn't realize was wrong, and it's that 73% of eligible voters didn't vote in 2016.
Oh, really?
43% of eligible voters didn't vote. But I had been getting all riled up and going on these.
That makes more sense.
I've been going on these self-righteous rants, and I was fake news, so I need to apologize for that. Mm-hmm. So maybe that might not be true about Carlos Slim. Maybe he'll send a mercenary after me. Joke's on him, because I'm friends with Delta guys now, so fucking come at me, Carlos Slim.
Man, I didn't realize what a big deal those Delta guys are until I started looking into what is Delta, what is Ranger.
Delta is insane.
Yeah.
Delta is.
They're the spooks. You hear everything about the SEALs, but Delta's the spooks.
It's like this. There's a good quote. It's like the SEALs are prepping for the next movie, while Delta works. The SEALs are filming on location. Delta's working. Yeah, it's they are. I mean, you should just look up some of the videos about selection. First of all, you have to get invited to try out. There's no application. You get invited. So so they invite people from the Rangers and the Green Berets, right? They already invite the best of all the grunts, the Rangers, right? They're better than the rest. You get invited from there to try out, and 5% get through tryouts. Once you get through tryouts, you have made it to selection, which is basically real tryouts, which lasts even longer, and then like 1% of that slimmed down group makes it to Delta. They're I think the quote one of them said, an ex-Delta guy said, it's not that the best guy makes it to Delta, it's that the right guy makes it. I mean, dude, they're a different fucking breed. I mean,
yeah, they're...
Dude, Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart, the two Delta snipers that went in and defended Mike Durant's Black Hawk in Mogadishu. I mean, those are two Medal of Honor recipients. They rappelled down into certain death without fucking blinking. Mike Durant describes them when they came down, knowing like full well that they were going to die. I think they took down something like 25 or 26 Somalis, just those two, just going ham. But the way Mike Durant describes it in his book, In the Company of Heroes, because Mike Durant was the last person to see them, he goes, they came in, they dropped down, and the way he describes it is the most like alpha thing ever. He goes, I blinked, he's like, I did like a double take and I saw him. He goes, I saw him just like, one took a knee and the other was looking and they're pointing. They're just scouting out shooting lines. They said as nonchalantly as like a couple in a park on an evening, like looking at where they want to plant their next flower bed. He said that they were just there going, there's bullets flying everywhere. There's RPGs. There's burning helicopters. And he said they just came down like, not even breathing hard. Like, okay, we're looking at there. And then he said they came over to him I think his words were, in no particular hurry, came over and said, hey man, how you doing? Just like nothing. Like eyes dilated, like, we gotta go. So he came up like, how you doing, buddy? Feeling all right? All right, well, hey, we're gonna set this thing up. And just ice cold, just ice in their veins, just like nothing. Hey, we're gonna set up a perimeter and fire. Like, okay, we'll probably last for a while before we're killed, but just nothing. Fucking animals, dude. He says when one of them got hit, I think it was Gary Gordon. He said when he was shot in like the chest with an AK, he said he didn't yell out like it hurt or that he was dying. The way Mike Durant describes it, he goes, when he said I'm hit, he was saying it in a way that made it sound like it was just irritating, like that it was just something that got in his way that was going to make it harder. Like, you're carrying the groceries in and you realize the door's locked. Like, fuck, god damn it, how am I going to do this? He goes, fuck, I'm hit. Just kind of like, I got this, it's as if it was a mosquito buzzing around. You're like, fuck, come on, stop it, right? Like, fuck, god damn it, I got this fucking thing. Fucking animals, dude. Fucking Spartans.
Oh my god.
Both Medal of Honor recipients. Weird fun fact is Gary Gordon, from I guess like wherever the army base that Delta was stationed at, he was the most recent person to check out a book at the library there of Medal of Honor recipients. He checked it out and read about it, and I think like died the next day getting the Medal of Honor. Little weird fun fact there.
That's
little destiny, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, Delta guys are. I mean, Dale describes it in his book, American Badass. Dale's coming on again next Wednesday or Thursday.
Ooh, cool. I'll tune in on that one.
Fucking right, you will. That's he describes it in his book, American Badass, which is it's a great fucking book. It doesn't matter when you get in. It's kind of like we were talking about, like with the hunt.
Yeah.
It's not that you get in and you're one of the boys now. Say you come in and like the commander comes up to you and goes, you got to give it 110% every day. If one day you don't show up giving it your all, we have no need for you here. You might be there for a week, you might be there for 18 years. If you're just not pulling it anymore, they don't give. There's no like seniority. There's no, well, he's been here forever. They don't give a fuck. They kick you out. You're like an old racehorse. It doesn't matter. Get out of here. They're the tip of the spear. They're fucking animals. That's my pro Delta spiel.
Fucking animals.
Fucking animals. Am I keeping you, Duran?
No. My stupid thing just keeps going off.
That doesn't make it. That clarifies nothing. But your Wi-Fi.
I thought you said that because my phone is going off.
Oh, no,
I just kept looking at it.
No, you said my stupid thing, and I was like, well, that could be anything. That could, by definition, be anything, right? But
how do you think this year will end?
I was just about to ask you, Durant. I was like, how does 2020 keep going? Which, 2020 has been fantastic for the podcast, because whenever the conversation lulls, you just bring up 2020, right? It's 2020, baby. But I refuse to stop being optimistic. Because there's nothing... What do I get out of being pessimistic? Nope, it's fucked. The whole thing's fucked. We're going to civil war. We all die. See, I told you I'm right. We're all dying. What? I told you that the pilot sucked. I told you we were going to crash. Why are you excited, right? It's So, no, I've refused to be... I'm not going to be naive or gullible.
Well, yeah, be prepared.
Be prepared, but I refuse to just join the fear porn.
Oh, dude, I've seen some tweets on Twitter from some of the Twitter bosses or whatever.
The mob bosses.
Where they're if you're pro-capitalism, we're gonna get you in a revolution. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
What the as you're on a fucking massively market capitalization corporation.
Dude. Quit selling fear, man. We don't need that right now.
Capitalism will fall. Sent from my iPhone, right? Right? It's Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah.
Or my favorite, Trump is a fascist. I'm like, dude, if he was a fascist, one, you wouldn't be able to tweet that, and two, if I read that without reporting you, I'd be in jail too. So,
well, it's man, before this whole COVID thing, I felt like as a country, weirdly, we're getting less polarized. We're starting to come together just a little bit. And then COVID happened, and everyone was like, oh, shit. Our leaders are bad, the straight monkey shit. Yeah, everybody just started bitching.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I think it's a pretty simple thing. Again, armchair bureaucrat. Let me tell you how to run the world, Doran.
Let me tell you how these things work.
Sit back, child. Let me tell you how you run a 340 million person country on a planet with 7 billion people. It's very quite simple, right? But I think it's just, that being said, I'm going to do it anyway. I think it's just fucking money, man. I think when the economy is going up and there's fucking extra dough in people's pockets, less taxes, whatever, this is very easy for me to say because I have food, water, air conditioning. I'm very blessed. Both my parents are still alive. My siblings are alive. I have friends. It's very easy for me to say this. So it's being serious when I say that. But I think a lot of stances, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, a lot of virtue signaling, those are luxuries that you can do when you have everything else taken care of, right?
Yeah.
I can virtue signal about fucking whatever because everything else is going all right. But I think at the core, if someone, I had Ernie on the other day. Ernie was born in Mexico. Ernie worked for the Democratic Party at the state capitol in Georgia. Ernie worked for the Obama administration. Ernie is as liberal as I am not liberal. Even he said, he's like, you know what, you guys just gotta ask. He's like, he's pro-Biden. He's like, you know what, I guess you gotta ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And he goes, and technically I am, because I'm making a lot more money under Trump. But he was like, I'll just be honest with you. He's like, I'm not voting for him. But I was like, Ernie, I appreciate your fucking honesty. He goes, I'll be real with you, man. My 401k is through the roof. I think that is really the core of it, is if you're making a lot of money, you might not publicly come out on Facebook and go, I'm normally a liberal, but I'm making a lot of money, so now I'm voting for Trump. You're allowed to vote in private. You can go in and vote for Trump and then come out and say, I voted against the orange man. But, at the end of the day, and I'm not even saying, well, it's not Trump's economy, it's Obama's economy. Maybe it is. I'm not making an argument for it's his. The reality is is it going up now? Is it going to come up after COVID? I don't know. But I think as long as the fucking cash is coming and the Dow Jones is going up, I think you're willing to... I think a lot of people are going to be like, man, he's appointing that Supreme Court justice and there might not be any more Roe v. They might overturn Roe v. Wade. But man, my 401k is through the fucking roof. I might be able to retire 2 years early. So I'll still virtue signal. Orange man bad, but I might be going in there and closing the poll. And
oh my god,
double
dude.
take.
Like before Corona though, like it was like hella easy to get a job.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So like, that's my logic for why it meant what you said. It appeared that we were kind of coming together. That's my logic for that, is because when the cash is just falling out of the sky, it's kind of easy to be like,
Like, I mean, it completely put a hole in my plan, because like I was going to go up, be with my parents for a summer, hang out with my sister and my brother, and I was just going to get like an easy job for the summer.
Just kick
but like as soon as Corona happened, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to get a job right now.
Yeah. I got a job in the middle of Corona. God bless. At the liquor store.
You're one of the lucky ones.
I think I didn't realize how much of a minority I am. I got a job in like July.
Yeah, my brother, he was working for this cell phone company where they like fix your phones, replace your screen.
Yeah.
Whatever. And like they just, after Corona, they closed overnight.
Just said fuck off.
Almost. Like he just got a text at like 10 o'clock from his boss saying, yeah, company's gone. Don't come into work tomorrow. We'll give you a check on Friday.
You don't come in because security will escort you off the premises because it's not my property anymore.
Yeah.
But really,
yeah,
it's, hey man, and there's something to be said for that. How many people are dying from COVID versus how many people are now dying from suicide or or they can't provide for their family, right?
Yeah.
But really,
I've talked to plenty of people who they're like, yeah, Doran, I've been really struggling lately. I don't know what it is. And I was thinking in my mind, I think it's like, okay, we're stuffing people indoors, they can't, go around freely, doing whatever anymore because of this. And, I think just that, being stuck indoors all day.
Yeah. I mean,
is what's doing that.
Did you say Doran? Is that your name? Doran?
Yeah.
It's not Duran?
Yeah. No.
I've been calling you.
It's Greek.
I've been calling you Duran for 2.5 years.
So many people do it. I don't even bother to correct.
Okay.
It doesn't bother.
You're still Duran to me. All right. You can call me Tomai. You can call me whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Do you care if I call you Durant? I guess I fucking should have asked you 36 months ago, but
it doesn't matter. I mean,
Doran.
Don't feel bad.
Doran's cool. That's cool. Doran's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Dorian, like Dorian Yates, the power lifter. But
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, how dare you assume social roles? But I mean, dude, how many men? How many men's self-value is based off of they can provide for their family? Maybe they're not the best looking guy, maybe they're not a genius, but they go put in 40, 50 hours a week at a job and they come back and, so their pregnant wife could stay at home. That is value. That's how depression isn't always an imbalance of chemicals. Sometimes it's I can't provide for my family.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, man, so my dad, like he has pretty advanced diabetes, and so he has the neuropathy and, all that going on. And so, like, you can't even touch his legs without him, freaking out.
Yeah.
And it was like the job he was at, like, he just couldn't do it anymore. And so he quit because he just could not do it. And for other reasons. But while he was looking for a new job, it was like you can just tell, like, when I would call him and talk to him on the phone, like, you can tell that he just wasn't in his place. Like, he just felt bad because he couldn't be providing for the family, like you said. And then, he got this other job, working for a smaller place, but, he's able to keep up with it. And, like, as soon as that happened, just he's happy. Like, I was talking to him on the phone, the other day, and I can just tell, like, he's back because he's just like, I got to do this for work,
Just doing something.
Like, it's stressful for him, but at the same time, you can tell he's really enjoying the challenge.
Yeah. And, I mean, you got to use the argument on itself. So, originally is like, stop being selfish. Okay, we got to do 14 days to flatten the curve. We got to do this. No, you can't go to your parties. Like, sorry, you can't have March Madness. It's more important that people don't die. Yeah, that's a good argument. I get it. We can't. Remember Italy? Remember the deaths in Italy? It was like, we can't get that here, okay? I get that argument. So what's the argument? It was the greater good. We decided, hey, we're going to cancel the Olympics, we're going to cancel all these things, we're going to cancel sports, we're going to cancel blah, blah, blah. But look, there's a pandemic. I get it. Big stimulus bill, like, economy's fucked. Hey, this is a freak occasion. It's not just America, it's the world. I get it. 1,000% behind it. You have to then use that same argument. Here we are 9-10 months later. Well, now, just like we can't have March Madness or Olympics or you go to parties, sorry, but you can't do this because everyone's grandma's going to die. All right, I think that's a very legitimate argument.
Yeah.
So, but what was that at its core? At its core, what was it? Pull apart grandma, pull apart work. It was, you are going to have to suffer a little bit so all of these people don't die. Okay. Well, we're at a point now where families are being torn apart. There's a massive spike in depression, anxiety, and suicide. No one has a job. No one can do anything. How many people are dying from COVID? And how much damage is this doing? Maybe it's not raw suicide numbers. Maybe it's not more. But how many people, how many houses are now ruined? How many kids now, there's going to be a ripple effect. They don't have a dad or they don't have a mom. Everything got fucked up because of COVID. Now you have to weigh it. It's back to square one. You can't have March Madness because we got to save all these people. Well, now, how many people are going to die if we reopen everything versus how many lives are going to benefit from it? Well, 1 million more grandmas are going to die. 200 million more people are going to go back to work and have successful, fulfilling lives. At what point, it's brutal, it's cold, it's calculating. But at what point? I mean, we made that cold calculating point early when we first said we're going to shut it down. We're going to lose a lot of money, we're going to shut down the airports, but the reality is if we don't do it, a lot of people are going to fucking die. Cold calculating. This is the same thing, but now it's, you got to be as cold and as calculating. 200,000 people. Could this have a generational ripple effect if shit fucked up? Could the well, it's the economy. It's the economy. The economy is not some ethereal thing. The economy is the well-being of 346 million people. So, at what point? It's very easy. I don't have any grandparents. They're all, two of them I never met, died before I was born, and the other two died in 2010 and 2018. I'm very lucky. I don't have anyone in my life that is at risk. Knock on wood, right? So I can say that. And I understand that not everyone can. But at what fucking point, as someone that has lived through a suicide and seen what it does to families 6-7 years later, how many more families are going to get fucked by shit because of no employment? At what point do you have to balance it out? Okay, well, do we want our cake and eat it too? A second stimulus check might be coming. Okay, another 2.2 trillion. Okay, that can't go forever. At what point do we weigh this, right? Women and children first kind of thing. Well, now there's a lot more working families versus that person that we're keeping to die, God bless, but I mean, they're 91 and they already have congestive heart failure. Are we going to fuck over this young family? Because it's brutal, it's cold and calculating.
Yeah.
But I mean, at what point does that discussion need to be had?
Yeah, it's like, man, I forget the statistic, I might fake news this or say it wrong.
60% of the time it works every time.
But it's like for every 1% of the unemployment going up, it's like 1,000 people die.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we can't do this forever, dude.
Yeah.
Every day, COVID cases spike. Yeah, it's gonna spike, and there's gonna be new COVID cases every day for the next century. That's just the reality. But it's
At what point do we accept reality and say, hey, like, we're doing more damage to ourselves by doing this?
Yeah, there are gonna be car crashes every day. We're not banning highways, okay?
Yeah.
Right, but if you say that, it's just as polarizing as saying, hey, Black lives do matter, but maybe we shouldn't be burning down cities. Oh, you fucking racist. Hey, fascism's bad, but I think Antifa is kind of like a modern-day brown shirt. Oh, you fucking fascist. Oh, you COVID denier. Not at all. Not at all, right?
Just trying to view reality.
I think it's as fucking lethal as anything, man. It is. It is. Yeah. The idea that it's not, that's retarded. That's equally retarded. Right?
Yeah.
Almost as retarded as the fact that saying retarded is a fucking now like a slur, right? But I don't know. I don't think it. At what point do we have to keep marching on?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like 200,000 people in our country have already lost their lives.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And so it's like, okay, on our COVID response, like, what else could we do better? But at the same time, it's like, okay, what can we take away so we don't get these other effects?
I mean, dude, they started up games at the Met Stadium like 3 days after 9/11. We opened up the airports like within 48 hours. Like, you gotta keep going.
Yeah, you can't just stop there and give up.
Yeah. Like, reopen shit, reopen work. Sure, and there can be a middle ground. You gotta wear a mask, man. You gotta fucking clean shit. You gotta, come on, like, clean your hands, like. But let's keep going. There's gonna be a vaccine, and let's fucking get back on track. This can't be the end. This is the end. We beat the fucking Nazis and the Japanese. We outspent the fucking Russians. But we survived 9/11 in 2008. We survived the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression in Vietnam and Korea. We survived all of that.
I bet you when we figure this mess out, man, like, there's going to be a unity. Like,
I hope so.
Us as a nation's going to be together and say, you know what? Maybe you aren't such a bad guy. You know,
that's what I do think it will be. Fuck yeah, optimism, Durant. Fuck yeah. I mean, dude, we're all going to be going back out, and the things we took for granted are going to be so goddamn fucking. I've lived at home since August 2016. I fucking drool at the idea of getting my own apartment and not living with my parents. I love my parents dearly, but like any 30-year-old human, you don't want to live with your parents, right?
Yeah.
Even my parents get stressed when they had to see their parents on holidays when they're 50. It's just part of life. So it's nothing against my parents. Shout out mom and dad, love you. They can probably hear me. Shout out mom and dad, love you, right? But that's something that I had from 18 until 26 that now I don't have. Just having my own place, put the thermostat on what I want. I don't have to worry about someone waking me up, right?
Yeah.
That, or the internet. God damn, this fucking internet. Like, but it's not my money to spend on better internet. I think we're all going to go back to things that we just completely took for granted. Bars, fucking fast food, everyone's sitting around, beaches, theaters, concerts, sports. Think about watching like a game, just seeing a game on like ESPN, just like a fucking highlight reel of a basketball game and 100,000 people cheering in a stadium. There's little shit like that. Everyone not being stuck on top of each other because we're all fucking quarantined to indoors.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it'll be unity. Even if people don't, I think some people will cling on like, no, divide, riots. But like, once everyone's back at work and people are trying to riot, they're going to be like, yo, get the National Guard in here and tell these people to fuck off. Like, I finally got my job back. No fascism, no. Hey, tell that, someone arrest them. Thank you. Like, anyway, back to the board meeting. Like, you know, it's easy to riot and burn shit down when no one's there to defend their thing or to give a fuck about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, Antifa and them, they kind of worry me, man. I mean, they remind me of Russia in 1905, you know. It was like Lenin and Stalin in Europe, and they're trying to start a revolution in Russia from Europe so they can return.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, this isn't going to work. And so they just keep pushing division and division and division.
Divide and conquer.
You know? Yeah, I hope that we take care of that. You know, we figure that part out, you know, how to take care of people like that.
I think it will.
I mean, I don't know the answer, but
I think I think one way is you bring in the heavy hand of government, National Guard, smash them all. But then that's what they want. They want actual proof of Trump being a dictator instead of just tweeting about it, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be easier for them. I think there's a more natural way. It's like drug legalization. How do we get people to stop or dying from drugs? Well, you can just crush it with the war on drugs. Spend all this money, destroy families, put them in jail, kill people for no-knock raids. Or legalize it all. And, dude, I fucking drank more between 18 and 21 than I have between 21 and 30. They didn't really give a fuck anymore because I had it available if I wanted. If I wanted to right now, I could go get a drink. I haven't, and I'm not going to. I think it's sort of like that, how it kind of healed itself. I think that's what you do is everyone goes back to work and everyone's, we're back. We're fucking back doing the thing. We're drinking on Friday nights. We're going to each other's apartments. We're hanging out. And then there are people going screaming in the streets and everyone's going, fuck off. They're going, no, join our revolution. Everyone's going, fuck off, dude. I'm at a fucking cafe with my wife. Like, I've been stuck inside for a year. Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
and then when they deploy the National Guard, no one's going to be like, fascism. They're going to be like, thank God, get these assholes out of here. Again, armchair bureaucracy.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that's happening in Oregon right now.
Yeah, and if the economy starts going up, right?
Yeah.
People going back to work, fucking cash is flowing. Now, then you're going to be people who are like, let's burn it down. You're going to be like, no. Right now, it's easy to say, let's burn it down because it sucks, right?
Yeah.
You don't care about it. What difference does it make? I'm stuck at home and I'm getting a check from the government, right? Yeah, sure, burn it down. Fuck if I care.
But, yeah, I mean...
Am I holding you, Durant?
I think that we're gonna see some unity.
Am I holding you hostage?
That's what I'm hoping for is unity.
Am I holding you hostage right now?
No. I got till let's do another 10 minutes.
Okay. Can I go pee real quick? Can I have your permission? Yeah. Welcome back to Duran Cast. Duran, hold it down. Doran.
Yeah. The Russian Revolution. That's an interesting one. But basically what it was is the revolutionists were taking advantage of the Tsar's mistake, out of envy for the system. And, it was rightfully so because, what they did is they, freed all the serfs and then they told them they have to pay these heavy fines for being free. And so you got a lot of resentment in the system there. And then, the Rasputin incident, that really hurt the autocrats' image. But, they were pushing hard to industrialize Russia. They just took advantage of bad things. And I see, groups like Antifa and them, they're taking advantage of the bad things, to push their own agenda. And they're, just as evil as the bad things happening. That's the thing we got to remember. And I don't blanketly mean to call out Antifa. I'm saying, groups like that, they like to take advantage of the bad. So,
man. Yeah. It's a weird semantic thing, right? Because you can't criticize BLM. There's a lot of great shit in BLM. Dude, my friend that comes on here all the time, Aaron Shepard. He's a black guy. He got into med school. Fucking builds telekinetic robots for NASA. He's cool shit. Yeah, I get it. I see him and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Imagine if he got shot. I'd be like, do you know who you just shot? You just shot, like, the next Elon Musk, like, because his skin, like, right? So, like, I fucking get it. There are some terrible elements of it. You say the same of Trump supporters, right? I look at me, I'm like, I don't think I'm an asshole. There are a lot of people who disagree. I'm like, I think I'm a fairly open-minded guy. But you know what? There are some fucking, like, goose-stepping white supremacists.
Yeah, unfortunately there is.
And you got to be able to criticize them. You got to be able to criticize them.
Sawyer, who said that racism will always be an issue in America or the world?
I don't know, but you're probably right.
Yeah, he said it'll always be an issue. You're always going to have hate and resentment and all those things. That's just human.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, as a systematic, like, occurrence of, like, racism, that kind of thing, it's like, yeah, like, for sure, we should stomp it out.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, it's...
Yeah, just because, one person, yells the N-word at, BLM protesters doesn't mean that there's a race issue in this country.
Yeah, it just means that there's an asshole.
Yeah, that's like, I think they call that like a fallacy of like composition or whatever. You're going from big to small. From small to big.
Yeah.
Like you're going from one occurrence. It's like saying that the Statue of Liberty is moving because every molecule in the Statue of Liberty is technically
vibrating, yeah.
Yeah.
Like technically, yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much stuff would be like healed if we just got rid of like hate words and hate slurs. Because hear me out, by not being able to say them, you put them on a pedestal. You make them these true weapons. And to me, the N-word is the same as magic. Because what is magic? Magic is an incantation said at a distance that has an effect at a distance. Or said that has an effect at a distance without physically touching it. Well, if I can just say a word at a distance without touching you, without taking money from your account, without slapping your wife, without breaking your car window, if I can just say a word Not even spitting on you, not even changing the air around you. If I can say it to you over a phone to where it's just fucking electrons coming through and wiggling the air, and that riles you up and ruins your day, that is dark magic. I just said an incantation and fucked with you.
Yeah, they have control of you over that point. Yeah,
that is so.
I thought you were going to say, because here's the thing, like freedom of speech, you know, you can't fuck with that. Like that's you know how our republic works. Is people are able to say what they think, and like in order to think, you have to risk being offensive. And so like when you start banning hate words and stuff, like you're doing what you're saying. And you're creating a dangerous precedent of where those rules can be taken advantage of.
And you're giving me weapons against you. You're trying to make it safer, but you were just giving me a cracker. You're allowed to say cracker. And because of that, guess what? It's not fucking offensive. Right? You can say whatever you want. I see suicide jokes all the time. I don't fucking like seeing them. I lost a sibling to suicide. But I don't stop it because that would give it more control over me. Now it's been 6 years since I lost my brother to suicide. Now I laugh when I see suicide jokes because I'm just fucking numb to it. I realize it's not an attack on me. And even if it was, who fucking cares? Water off the duck's back, right?
Dude, I made a 9/11 joke.
Yeah.
On 9/11. And so many people were mad at me. But I was like, dude, like, it's insulting to the people that died if we can't sit here and joke about it.
Yeah, it's the second you stop, because one, that leads to a slippery slope of if I can't say this word and then I can't say that word, fast forward 10, 20, 30 years, and now the words you're banning are, I don't know, that your political opponents, right? Those are hate speech. Yeah. Well, that's how you fucking end up everyone in the gulags, right? We've seen how that happens.
Yeah.
You got to make it all, I mean, no, I don't think you can publicly like call for violence against an individual. Like you can't yell fire in a theater kind of thing. There are limits on free speech, and I think we all agree with. But dude, just certain words, because now, I know I said I'll let you go in a couple minutes, holding you fucking hostage, but I mean even a word, so like a word like faggot, right? You can't say that anymore. I grew up saying faggot. All that ever meant was that person's being a loser, he's being a jerk, right? You know, he went and told the teacher on us, right?
Yeah.
And my problem with the word faggot isn't that I don't think it's offensive to gay people. Dude, I have gay friends, and if they're around, yeah, you're goddamn right I'm not going to say it. But not because I can't, but because I'm choosing not to, right?
Yeah.
But that word... So, when I argue for my right to say faggot, and people say you can't say that, and I say why, and they say because that is a slander against gay people, that is a weapon, and I say that's not what it means for me. For means, it just means you're just being a faggot, right?
Yeah.
Well, they say, okay, well, if that's not your word for slandering against gay people, then what is? I don't have one. I don't have a word for slandering gay people. So you are forcing me to have... Duran, what kind of nuke do you have? Do you have a small yield or a high yield? I don't have any. I don't want one. So what slander do I have against gay people? I don't have one, and I don't want one. You are forcing me to have this ammunition that I don't want. You are giving me this knife, this verbal knife that says, this one's for making gay people mad at a distance. I don't want it. Don't give it to me.
Yeah.
I say faggot because it's don't be a faggot. Don't be a cracker. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a moron. Don't be a queer. Don't be a dipshit. I make suicide jokes every day. I'm like, fuck this podcast. I'm going to blow my brains out. Right? But that doesn't mean I fucking take that seriously, right? So it's...
Yeah.
So it's... And
when you create a taboo, like you're creating a weapon.
You are. That's exactly what it is. It's what Alan Watts said. There's always something in the periphery, like layers of an onion. Once you get rid of one, well, there's always another taboo. And then not only that, once you create one taboo, well, it's very easy to create another. Now you can't say faggot. Now you can't say retard. Well, soon what is it going to be? Well, now you can't say illegal immigrants. You have to say undocumented. Right? Or you go vice versa. You're not allowed to say Antifa. You have to say terrorists against Trump. Right? It can go both ways. It can be used against everyone. It very quickly spirals out of control to where you're no longer allowed to say, hashtag MAGA or hashtag, George Floyd justice or whatever, right? That is a dangerous weapon that fucks everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like you said, like you don't necessarily want those weapons.
I don't want it. Don't give it to me.
Yeah, like don't.
That is your word for slandering gay people. I don't have a word for slandering gay people, right? So don't give one. Don't give one to me. Like, that's
who
racist.
Who cares if they're gay? Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, don't give me that weapon. Or you can make up your own new word, and from the get-go, that's what it means. We'll all agree that's what it means. But even then, now you're still just giving me a weapon. So if I really want to get to someone, I'll say this. But you can't. Even I'm not allowed to, but I can physically make the sounds with my mouth. You've just given me an abracadabra. You've given me a... What are the Harry Potter ones? Crucio? What's the bad one? The Avada Kedavra? Is that it? You're giving me these incantations, right? I can now say this to you from a distance. Don't give me that.
Don't give people that, because some people are just going to do it.
They're going to use it against you. Funny. They're going to use it. Some people are going to do it just because. I mean, welcome to the.
Just because you say no, they're going to say, "Oh, I got to go do that." Now.
Welcome to the internet. Right? I remember I posted my Mike Durant interview, and someone's like, "That fucking faggot won't shut up." And I was like, "Sorry, I was just trying to interview him. I was nervous." He's like, "Oh, this is your podcast?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Learn to do it better." And like, I got so upset, and then I was like, "I'm letting this guy upset me." Right? So then I just came back with like,
you're letting him get
So instead I just replied with like, "Thanks, baby, love you. See you tonight." They're like, "What?" And there you go. Just kind of right back at him, right? Miss you, honey. You know, can't wait to have some pasta with you. Yeah,
I like that.
You could bring it over a good bottle of Chianti. Yeah, it just bring it back at him. But it's not just don't give me that weapon because I don't want it. It's for yourself. Don't hand someone else a gun. Just don't do it. You do that by banning words. You fucking do that.
Don't give him a weapon.
And because the word no, I don't say that with any anger or hatred when I say faggot. And then furthermore, even if I was saying it with anger and hatred, that is an unfortunate side effect of free speech. That is a part of living in a free society in the greatest nation on earth. That's one of the costs, is that someone can just say shit that so when I say I don't get upset when I see suicide jokes or suicide memes because I know they're not targeted at me, well, guess what? There's another tier. There could be people that are like, "Hey, you didn't do enough to prevent your brother from committing suicide." That is directed at me. That is allowed.
Yeah.
So the memes, right? the memes aren't directed at me. But even if they were, that's allowed. And it sounds like an extreme. Well, why don't we just get rid of that? In those extremes, that's where it starts. You're right. We should just get rid of suicide jokes. But that's it. No. Next thing you know, you fast forward 40 fucking years and you're getting tattoos on your forearm and being pushed into a or an incinerator. Right?
Yeah.
That's always the path it goes.
Yeah.
So, and that goes for me. Say shit against me. By all means. You stupid, white, educated, blue-eyed Nazi fuck. Go ahead. None of it's true, but god damn it, that's your right to say it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sacrifice we take for living in a free society, like you said.
God damn, is it a small sacrifice to make?
Yeah, it's a relatively pretty small. I mean, look. I mean, other countries in the world, man, like they don't have it as nice as us. Like they get their fucking nuts cut off when they say shit like that.
Or not even, or there's a middle ground. Go to the UK. You'll go to fucking jail for saying something Islamophobic. I have a friend that I went to middle school with that lives in Ireland, but he won't do the podcast because he's, quote, "Dude, it's serious over here. You'll go to jail for saying shit."
Yeah.
Fuck that. So it's one or the other.
I think those patterns are really, really interesting to learn about.
Yeah, it always happens. It's a natural law. It's a natural law. Just like institutions created to deal with a problem will eventually create the problem to justify their existence. Prison guards, cops, war on drugs. There are natural laws in this world, and they're not all gravity, 9.81 meters per second. They're not all, c, the speed of light. Some of them are natural laws. One of them is, is it Poe's law? What's the one where eventually we'll compare someone to Hitler? Well, one of them is when you start banning words, even if it's for a great thing originally. Patriot Act. This is so 9/11 doesn't happen again. Well, very quickly it turns into NSA, right?
Yeah.
It always follows the same path. Where if you just ban one word, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it takes a century, but eventually everyone ends up against the wall being shot in the back of the head.
It's like
it always happens.
The alibi of the public's well-being is always the alibi of tyrants.
Yeah. What was Joe Rogan's quote? We have a mental health problem disguised as a gun problem, and we have a tyranny problem disguised as a security problem. You got, And so not only is that the trade-off to live in a free society, even after all of that, 1, it's probably not aimed at you. 2, even if it is aimed at you, that's the price of a free society. 3, god damn, man, it thickens your skin. It allows it forces you to have the water roll off your back, and now you are stronger for it.
Yeah, it's like sticks and stones won't break my bones, but words will not hurt me. Yeah. I feel like my generation has kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, it's going to help you, and it's going to help you in every aspect of life. Down the road, when you're in a bad relationship and you break up and that person tries to say something that hurts you, you're going to be like, well, I've been called racial slurs my whole life, so I don't give a shit about that. But we just keep trying to, right? I mean, that's why our immune systems are so strong. It's because we deal with this shit, right? But if you nerf everything, you can't fucking handle any of it. I'm keeping you way over. You said 10 more minutes. I just kept you for 16.
Yeah. So. I just got to go get.
Shut up, Durant. I don't care. Hey, real quick. Predictions. It's October 1st, 2020, 4:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Predictions. I say vaccine for COVID. I say the election, I don't know who wins, but I say that it happens and there's no fuckery. It's just an election and someone wins. And there's another big UFO sighting. Those are my 3. You got to make 3 and then I'll let you go.
Okay. So I predict that the U.S. government's going to release more info on aliens and UFOs.
Good choice.
Okay. I predict that there's going to be a lot of stupid civil unrest and everyone on the left and right are going to unite against it and say, hey, this is fucking stupid, stop.
Okay.
And then 3, I think after the vaccine and COVID, like, people are going to be a lot more happier and we're going to see depression and everything go down.
Fuck yeah. I love it. I love the positivity.
Yeah.
Got to be positive. What benefit is there? Ha! Told you the world was going to end. Doran, until next time, brother.
All right, man. It's been good.
Yeah, I'll let you go. I know you got to go. I'm going to keep talking to you. Yeah. I'll let you go. All right, buddy. All right, man. I'll text you when it's up.
Peace.
Later, buddy. Peace.